inquiry into Brahman. You see, it keeps coming back to that central thought, that central theme. And all of Vedanta philosophy, and by the way, our lineage is based on Vedanta. It's called Gaudiya Vedanta Sampradaya. And our teacher, our guru, his name is Bhakti Vedanta. Bhakti Vedanta, which, a rough translation of which would be, the ultimate conclusion of the Vedas is devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So one who has decided or realized that this devotional service is the ultimate knowledge, then they are fit to inquire into Brahman. You see, this is a very high thing, a very exalted thing. It's not for everyone. This is another implication of these four little words. Ata, ato. Ataha means now. Now? What do you mean now? Now that you have exhausted all other possible sources of knowledge, now that you have the qualifications of a bona fide Brahmana, now that you have studied all the Vedic literatures, now that you have performed many pious activities and increased your stock of positive karma, now that you are in an economically developed situation that allows you the leisure time to go into all these philosophical intricacies and meditate and actually realize Brahman for yourself. Now that you are in this situation, now is the time to inquire into Brahman. Don't wait. Now. Do it now. Don't get distracted. Don't miss the opportunity. So are we almost out of tape? 2 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to answer questions. Hang on.
The Vedanta-sutras were not compiled in the time of Prahlad Maharaj, right?
It's a trick question. The Vedas are eternal. That means Vedanta is also eternal. Maybe the particular specific words of the Vedanta-sutras were not compiled, but the subject matter of Vedanta was certainly well known and was taught in Prahlad's time. By the self-realized souls, like Narada. Narada was Prahlad's guru. And Narada certainly taught all of these subjects to Prahlad. Remember, the Vedas had to be written down only because of Kali Yuga. Before that, they were taught as a verbal tradition, an oral tradition. So it's only because our memories are so short, they had to be written down, and that's why they were compiled by Vyasadeva. But the subject matter and the information in the Vedas is eternal. So yes, Vedanta was there at the time of Prahlad, and even before that. And it will be there eternally. Any more?
No, not so far.
No more questions.
But
Oh, good. Then I can go to...
We should wait a little bit, I think.
Yeah, turn the camera off. Yeah. Okay, so what's the next question?
The next question was, how does Vedanta-sutra help us in our devotional service?
Oh, in so many ways. By clarifying all these little issues that come up again and again, and so many questions that you'll find in preaching especially, many people will ask. And also, a lot of things that Prabhupada says in his books, without directly quoting any reference, you'll find they come from the Vedanta-sutra. Just as one example, for example, that every Sanskrit word is actually a name of God. Lord Chaitanya taught this to his students. And in fact, this was one of the reasons why his students thought that he was crazy. Because he started teaching in his grammar class that actually all words ultimately mean the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Well, guess where that is? It's the last sutra in the fourth pada of the first adhyaya of Vedanta-sutra. So it's not that Lord Chaitanya was just a religious fanatic, or it's not that we're making it up when we say that everything is coming from God and God is in everything, even to the point that all words, all names are actually names of God in his different aspects and different qualities. But Vedanta-sutra tells that this is true, because generally speaking, in the interpretation of Vedic scripture, even if a different word is used, like prana, or in one place avyaya, the eternal, what's another place? Another place he's called akshara, indestructible, and in another place he's called jyotis, the light. You hear the impersonalists talk about this a lot. The light, the light, I see the light. You know? They really get into this. But the actual conclusion of Vedanta is that all of these things actually mean the personality of Godhead. Not the impersonal Brahman, but personal. Because the qualities that are described in the scriptures and ascribed to these words could only be a description of a person. You see? That he has consciousness, he has will, he has perception, he has energy, he performs activities, his body has limbs, and so on and so forth. But the statements of the Upanishads are sometimes equivocal. They could be interpreted in several different ways. And this is deliberate. The reason why is that in traditional Vedic society, if you had a question about, especially about spiritual things, you would go to a bona fide guru, someone who's initiated into the tradition, into the lineage, and you would inquire from that person. And so there was someone available to interpret in the proper way and to give the hidden meaning, because in a lot of the scriptures the meaning is hidden, it's not stated directly. It says that the Brahman walks, but he does not walk. He is not seen, but he sees everything. He is not heard, but he hears all. You know, these like mysterious kind of spooky statements. So if you know the meaning that actually every word, every topic in the Vedic scriptures ultimately is about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you know this, then you can very easily resolve these passages. But they're talking about Brahman. They're talking about Vishnu. Because this is the real subject matter in all the Vedas. So just to conclude this long discussion, actually the entire first adhyaya of Vedanta is about this subject, that in passages in the Upanishads that are ambiguous and that seem to refer to something other than the Supreme Lord, actually the intention is only to describe Vishnu. Why? Because the conclusion of the Vedas, the conclusion of the Upanishads, is that one should perform devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if you do that, then you get the realizations. Another good example is, why do we repeat things over and over and over, like chanting mantras, or certain rituals like arti, or offering prasadam, tulsi puja, or so many different things that we do over and over and over again? Why don't we just do it once and that's it? Well, because there's a sutra in Vedanta that says it is observed that the people who perform devotional activities over and over and over again, they become realized. See, we observe this. It's a matter of experience. When they perform it over and over, then they get realized. If they only do it once, no realization.